And good evening. Welcome inside the bottom line. Lanny Ford, Juju Phelps with you. 66 degrees outside. And I'll be honest with you, Juju, feels just a wee bit cooler than that.
It was. It was all day, and it was yesterday, too.
Yeah.
Two beautiful days.
Nice. Love it. This typical time of way, like when you close, these are brand new.
I saw them last week.
Not this one. This one's new. You saw the grayish one. It's made like this. They're called not vintage something. Starts with a V. I can't remember the style that it is, but they're nice shirts. And I picked up two Panther shirts too, in the dry fit Nikes. I've hunted for. You got Appalachian on tonight. Hunted for Appalachian and couldn't find it.
Okay.
In the dry fit, they had cotton. Well, I can make cotton. Why am I going to pay you for cotton? I wanted dry fit.
I did find out who sent me this in the mail, and they sent it to Lenore Ryan back in the
I remember you talking about that
3 or 4 months ago. And I did find out who sent it. I guess he sent it as a joke, but he had my name on it in the package and everything, but they never opened it, obviously. But I did find out who did it. Yeah, he's an Appalachian guy who's also an LR fan. So, and I think he's a listener, viewer as well.
I'm an everybody guy. That's what
you are.
I'm an everybody guy. That's just who I am. The Aaron Rodgers trade is official, and I'll pull that up for you. We were just talking about it. Just broke maybe 15 minutes ago. Really, they got him for nothing. In all honesty, would you agree?
If everything's accurate as what they're reporting, they got him basically.
Now they got a lot of money they got to cover in his contract.
Yeah, but that and a second-round draft pick, which could be a first next year.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't see anybody say anything about. Part of that was talking about would the Packers eat part of his salary.
Well, I'm guessing that because, and I guess his salary is for 1 or 2 more years?
2.
2 more years.
Mm-hmm. I believe that's right.
I'm guessing that since the Jets are giving away some of those draft picks, that maybe the Packers are going to take on some of that salary.
Here's what it says. Packers agreed Monday to deal Aaron Rodgers and their 2023 first-round pick, number 15, and a 23 fifth-round pick at 170 for the Jets' 2023 first-round pick, which is a 13, so they move up 2, a 2023 second-round pick.
That's
number 42.
That's on Friday.
And a 2023 sixth-round pick at 207, and a conditional 2024 second-round pick that becomes a first-round pick if Rodgers plays 65% of the plays this season.
So they got a second-round pick this year, possibly a first-round pick next year for Aaron Rodgers. And I'm guessing.
No, they got
the fifth and sixth round. That's not
right.
Much.
Okay, they gave Aaron Rodgers the Packers number 15 pick, the Packers number 170 pick to the Jets. For the Jets number 13 pick, their number 42 pick, and a 207 pick. So really nothing. I mean, the only thing they really picked up was a second-round pick this year.
Second-round pick this year. And
a conditional – they'll get a second round at worst next year that could become a first if he plays 65%.
And that second-round pick is right in the middle
this
year of the second round. And if the Jets have the kind of season they're expecting, then that first – and if Aaron Rodgers plays as much as they expect him to, then that's going to be a late first-round pick.
Now, how about this one? This is the one I guess that surprised me a little bit more than anything. Joe Namath had given his blessing for number 12 to be unretired, for Aaron Rodgers to wear it, but a source told Adam Schefter he's going to wear number 8, the number he wore at Cal.
Well, I saw a picture. There's a picture on Twitter of him wearing number 8, so maybe that is true. You know, it's funny, Adam Schefter broke the story. Rodgers' agency is represented by the same guy that represents Kyle Duggar, the LR guy. They're out in California. So that's where he's getting his information from.
And I do want to say congratulations to Jimmy White. Jimmy White is a former player of mine at Highland Tech.
All right.
That has just been named the new head coach at Highland Tech.
Very good.
So congratulations to him.
Yeah.
He's done really well with some rec ball and does a really good job. Very knowledgeable, great kid. And he has I saw that on Facebook that he has been named to the new head coach at Highland. So congratulations to him. Let's see. Now they can start talking about Aaron Rodgers again. Stephen Lowe said he is currently at the Maiden High School Wrestling Banquet. We'll watch the show later. Okay. Mark Alton says, finally, Aaron's now part of the Jets. Now Elton John can rewrite his song. I don't remember those lyrics. You'll have to help me with that one, Mark. Don't know how well Weirdo and the Jets will sound through, but hey, I think the New York press will eat him alive. Now, I could be wrong, especially if he doesn't perform well. Todd Wimberly, good evening, sir.
Yeah,
that's not a media market that Green Bay is.
No, it's not even close. Not even close.
Oh, okay. Mark said Benny and the Jets.
Benny and the Jets.
It could be Aaron.
Can you imagine
Jets.
though, Jets fan? I was 8 years old the last time they won a Super Bowl. It's been 50 whatever years, 53.
I watched it and was not happy because I was a Colts fan, as you well know.
Yeah. You were 9 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching it. Yeah.
Almost 10. Watched it in black and white.
So when you're that desperate to win a Super Bowl and your owner's up in his 80s, you do what they're doing in New York with the baseball team. The owner, the Cohen guy, throwing out millions and millions of dollars. You do what Steinbrenner did for many, many years. Try to buy a championship.
Let me ask something. How's that work for Jerry down in Big D?
Well, I mean, the NFL's a little bit different, I think.
I was going to say, I mean,
New York and not too, I guess a little bit different, but when you haven't won as long as the Jets, you're going to try to do anything possibly that you can to bring a Super Bowl championship.
Now, my understanding is, and I don't follow it, I guess, to this level, the Jets are built to win now. They're just missing a quarterback. And I think you and I had this argument, or Four and I had this argument, not taking anything away from Aaron Rodgers' talent, okay? I just don't see Aaron Rodgers putting the work in because he looks at it, you need to do the work. I don't need the work.
Well, his old offensive coordinator is now with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
His quarterbacks coach used to be, believe it or not, his quarterbacks coach, Billy something, whatever, he was quarterbacks coach for about a minute at Lenore Ryan 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Mm-hmm.
But he has some people built in, including the coordinator.
He still got to get on the same page with his teammates, and that's why they didn't get decent till November last year. So if he doesn't come to OTAs and he doesn't,
he's already there. My understanding is the stuff that I read, he's already there. He's already working out.
Okay.
They started workouts, I believe, last week. So
do they have a barbershop there?
I don't know what that's going to be like.
Mark says the Jets are built to find a way to screw this up.
They have for 53 years.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting.
The best run that the Jets have had and that I can recall,
Rex Ryan.
Those couple of years with Rex Ryan when they lost in the championship games.
And
Parcells took them to the championship one year.
And you know what?
Denver,
even
against Denver.
When Rex Ryan was there, they really weren't that good.
They had a good defense.
Yeah, but they really weren't that good to think that they could get as far as they did.
Well, they were there when Brady was there.
Milton says he will not succeed in New York. He's too much of a jerk to work with his receivers.
Well, there are a lot of...
I know, we got to see. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I say this all the time. As a shareholder and part owner of the Green Bay Packers.
As am I.
That's correct. It's not... I've never questioned his ability. I've questioned his commitment to do what it takes and swallow his pride to help others that aren't as good as he is to get to that final gold ring on the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
When you look what Tommy did when he went to Tampa Bay. He was at a high school with his receivers in summertime.
Yeah.
On his own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need to get ready.
And that's another dumb rule the NFL has, that you can't work out with your teammates. Why can't you be in the building year-round if you want to be?
I get that, but Tommy did. Tommy just found a way to, we're going to go hang out together.
Yeah, and they won a Super Bowl
I
eventually.
don't see Aaron Rodgers doing that.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, we'll see.
January, February, March in Green Bay, Wisconsin's a little bit different than in New York. Well, not that much, but maybe a little bit different in working out in the offseason.
Weather's nice now.
Yeah.
We'll see. Quince, don't they have some OTAs in May?
Right, yeah, in
May.
after
The draft, right?
Right after the draft.
Okay.
They have some unplanned ones now. They have some again in May.
So it'll be interesting to see how much effort.
But if you're a Jets fan, you think it's the missing piece because they have a really good defense. They drafted a bunch of guys that hit on some draft picks last year, including the defensive back, Sauce Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
And they got some good linemen. They hit on a running back last year. Their wide receivers are pretty decent. They got a good tight end. So they think that the quarterback is the missing piece
Now, my question would be,
for at least 1 or 2 years. And is it worth it if you get to a Super Bowl? I mean, they had Brett Favre there for 1 year. Took a chance, didn't work.
Well, everybody's saying they won't be that good this year, but they should be really good next year unless Aaron puts the offseason work in. Because it'll take him well into the season this year to gel if he doesn't put the offseason work in.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be next year if the personnel stays the same. Now, I'm trying to find the right word to use here. I know the word I want to use, and I'll probably use it anyway because I don't care. Zach Wilson.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't he become sort of a cancer to the team because he didn't like the way he was being handled or developed or something?
Yeah, it was immature.
Okay. My question would be, does he remain with the team?
Yes.
Okay. I just wonder if they would get rid of him so that he is not a distraction.
Why do you get rid of a number 1 draft pick?
I get that, but if he is a distraction in the locker room and on the field, do you have a choice?
Well,
if immaturity was the issue.
Yeah. Is he a Johnny Manziel? Is he that kind of immature?
Oh, I don't know.
I just see him as being immature, and again, I don't know, thinking that if I were him, I'm not in his shoes, and my personality would be I could be a sponge with everything. You don't have to be in the face of Aaron Rodgers, but you could take up everything and watch it the way he plays the game and how he processes stuff.
Not if you think you're better than he is.
He doesn't.
I didn't say that he was. I just said if you thought. Now, Mark has a good thought here, and I'll give you this thought just as we take a break. When you start talking about a sponge and all these kind of things. Mark said, you would think with age comes wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Not with Aaron.
Why?
That's his comment. Okay.
Yeah.
My add-on to that is wisdom, when it comes to Aaron, is like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. And he thinks he's got all the wisdom. He doesn't need anybody else. Take a break.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. And welcome back. Glad to have you with us here on a Monday evening. Beautiful sunshine, but the rain's coming in. I'm going to partake of some outdoor therapy in the morning.
Outdoor therapy, that's right.
Outdoor therapy. Yep, I'm going to do that in the morning. And I got a meeting at 1:30 and a meeting at 3 o'clock. But I'm going to do a little therapy first to get the day started off right. Brian Norris is going to join us in just a bit. He is a member of the team of distinction that's going into Catawba County Sports Hall of Fame, the 1990 CVCC National Golf Champions.
Yeah.
And then also Josh Carney is scheduled to join us about 6:45, talk a little Steelers with the draft coming up Thursday night.
Yeah. Round 1, round 2s and 3 is Friday, and the rest on Saturday.
Okay.
Speaking of the draft, and I did some research. Everybody's, they're calling up and asking. The Panthers are going to take Bryce Young. That's pretty much a done deal. Quarterback from Alabama. And everybody's worried about his height. And I'm more worried about his durability more than his height. Mm-hmm. But I went back and did some research and hit a couple of websites. Since 2000, there have been 368 quarterbacks that have played in the NFL. 9 are shorter than 6 feet tall. 9 out of 368. 3 of them currently. The guy used to be with the Panthers. Is no longer with the Panthers. Was the backup to the backup last year. What was
P.J. Walker.
P.J. Walker was 5'11". Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. Those 3 are the only ones left in the NFL. And right now, Bryce Young is somewhere between 5'10" and 5'11".
Was Baker Mayfield over 6 feet tall? Not by much.
No, shorter than 3. Yeah, maybe Baker Mayfield was the 3rd. Maybe that was it. Because in the last 30 years, and this is even more amazing, 30 years in the NFL, take it back to, 1990? 1992, excuse me. Since 1992, 7 quarterbacks have played in the NFL that are shorter than 6'2". Johnny Manziel.
6'2".
6'2".
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Rex Grossman, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Cade McNown, Kyler Murray, Tua, Drew Brees, Michael Vick.
Did you not list Russell Wilson in that too?
Yes.
That was in the first batch.
Yeah. Only Murray and Manziel are under 6 feet tall. Everybody else is between 6'2", from 6'2" to 6 feet. My point is, to be successful, if you go by the numbers, the chances of hitting on a franchise quarterback in the NFL are much better, prohibitively better than, I don't know what the percentage would be, than taking a guy that's 5'10" and a half, which is Bryce Young. They're going to pass on somebody that's 6'2" or 6'3". In fact, the other 4 quarterbacks that of the top 5, the only one that's under 6 feet tall is Bryce Young.
All the talk that I heard today talking about this, the biggest part of the conversation was some of these guys can play that will go lower. For example, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, smaller, thinner, however you want to look at it, than a Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. But both of those guys need to go to a team that can let them sit for a year or two and learn and get polished because they're raw. Can't do that anymore. Go back and look at Aaron Rodgers. He sat for what, 3 years?
Yeah.
Behind Brett Favre. And that was one of the things. Let me give you a couple comments here. Milton said Rodgers needs a new hookah shop. Mark said, I wonder if he looked for a barber or he just keeps that greasy vagabond look. Todd said, I don't see Rodgers working with the younger quarterback. If you remember, Brett would not work with him in Green Bay, and he has an ego that gets in the way. Milton said that's the California pot grower's hairstyle.
And they're not paying him $50 million to work with a younger quarterback.
And Milton said Young is a waste of a number 1 pick. Mark said, it's funny, I despise Tom Brady for all his Super Bowl rings, and I despise Aaron Rodgers more for all the rings he could have had. Mark said, I just don't feel he ever put in the work that Brady – well, that's obvious, and that he could have done for him and his team to be better. And Chad said, I don't see Panthers rushing for 150 a game to keep pressure off anyone. That's the other key with these young, smaller quarterbacks. You better have a multifaceted offense, because if you don't, if they know you can't run the ball, they're just going to lay their ears back.
Again, go by the numbers. These younger, smaller quarterbacks don't last. Their durability. And if you look at 368 guys that play quarterback taking a snap in the last 22 years, only 9 have been shorter than 6 feet tall, and he's going to be the 10th.
I don't know, but this was a thin guy. Maybe he was over 6 feet tall. How tall was RG3?
He was a little. I think he was 6'1".
Yeah, still not. Hey, Brian Long. No size there.
No.
Just no size. And thin. He was really thin, especially lower body.
But he wasn't. Was he the number? Was he 1'1"? He was in the top 5. I know.
I can't remember. I have to look.
But I just think, if you're a team and you trade up for a Richardson, you can't let him sit. You just. I mean, you can't throw him in there first thing, but you got to get him some.
But wouldn't you be better off if you did in the long run?
Yeah, you probably
6'2".
Okay,
6'2", 213. He did not look that big to me. Number 2 pick.
Okay, it was
in 2012.
All right. No, I think for a guy that needs experience, you can't get any experience unless you're on the field. It's like the old NASCAR thing. You can't get seat time unless you're racing. It's not like, I think the old days are gone. I mean, you can't go back and say, let him sit for 3. Now, if you got a guy that's middle of the first round or late first round or second, third, fourth, or fifth round draft pick, and you bring him in and you say, okay, well, you're going to sit and let the veteran, like maybe a little bit what the Steelers did last year, but you just can't throw him in the first time around. And maybe they'll do that with Bryce Young, but I'm guessing that's why they signed Andy Dalton.
I agree.
But they're not going to like with Richardson.
But Andy Dalton's not convinced he can't still play.
Probably, and he should be. When you think of the Richardson kid, the kid out of Florida, he's only played 20 games as a starter, something like that.
He could be Mitch Trubisky.
Well, and again, he struggled too because he just didn't have he didn't have the experience. But if you look at Bryce Young, he's played 3 or 4 years? How many games he's played in the league he's in and all that? So he does have a little bit more experience. And again, you're taking him number one. You can't say, okay, sit, kid. We want you to go over there and sit and watch. And a guy like this Richardson guy,
but there's not a number one that can step out there and make an impact in this quarterback class.
Doesn't appear that, no.
I don't think.
And to go by the numbers.
Great interview this morning, Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Everything he's been through. He was on Dan Patrick this morning talking about breaking it down. He said, Bryce Young's going to be that number one pick. And a lot of it comes back. Dan Patrick says this a lot, and I agree with this. When you're analyzing and evaluating quarterbacks, there's probably been more misses on Ohio State quarterbacks than almost any, because when they get to the NFL, they don't have the same toolbox, so they can't be as successful. Now, Alabama is a little bit different, but, Alabama probably has a better offensive line and receiving core than the bottom 5 of the NFL teams.
Offensive line, I don't know. That's pretty close. I mean, Ohio State's put some number one draft picks in there, especially a wide receiver the last couple of 3 years.
Right, but give me the last successful Ohio State quarterback.
Yeah. You can.
I'm going to say, nobody comes to mind.
Well, you say who? I'd say the last one would be Joe Burrow. He was at Ohio State at one time. It's not.
No. It's got to be where he finishes.
Oh, okay. You didn't say that just till now.
Yeah. Come on. You knew what I was talking about.
No, you're right. He would. And C.J. Stroud.
I knew what I was going to ask. How about that?
It's not. We've done this before. It's not. It's
pretty.
Ugly. Yeah,
it's
not
ugly
at all.
Yes, it's just ugly. Art Schlichter, 82.
The Washington Commanders made a number one draft pick out of one of their former quarterbacks.
Don Scott in 41. Justin Fields. That's not working out in Chicago.
Well, I think it's a little bit up in the air with him.
Dwayne Haskins, just a total bust. Les Horvath in 1943.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, there's a reason. Tom Tupa. Remember Tom Tupa?
I do. He's a punter. Ended up being a punter.
Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL. 82 was Art Schlichter. 85 was Mike Tomczak.
He's probably the most successful.
Yep. 92 was Kent Graham. 96 was Robbie Hoeing. 99, Joe Germain. 04 was Craig Krenzel. 07, Troy Smith. 11, Terrell Pryor. There's another bust. 16, Cardell Jones. And 19, Dwayne Haskins.
Greg Krenzel's brother is a ortho doctor in Hickory.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
How'd he get to Hickory?
Went to Duke.
64 seasons, 0 Pro Bowls. Tom Tupa made 1 Pro Bowl after converting to
a punter.
There you go.
I knew that one.
But if you go back, it's changed a little bit. Alabama has about the same track record.
Yeah.
Of successful.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah. They come from all different places, but again, it comes down to they say Bryce Young, despite his size, is a quick processor. He can process and
they were talking about what's it called? A2?
S2.
S2.
The S2 test.
And it's like a reaction test. Mm-hmm. And I've never heard of that. That was the first time I'd heard of that.
It's a cognitive test.
Mm-hmm.
and it measures your cognitive ability and how to make decisions. And apparently, Bryce Young, was off the charts on this test, and C.J. Stroud was way down the list.
All right, I'm going to go back here. Mac Jones in 21, Jalen Hurts in 20. Probably going to go down as the most successful quarterback since Joe Namath. Yeah.
Probably. Richard Todd.
No. Jalen Hurts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to take this.
Tua, A.J. McCarron. He's playing in the XFL or the USFL, whatever. Brody Kroll, Greg McElroy, Jay Barker, Mike Shula, Jeff Rutledge, Richard Todd. Why do I remember that name? Where else did he play?
Jets.
Okay. Scott Hunter. Okay. But after Joe Namath, but only by a year.
See, they thought Richard Todd, because he went to Alabama like Joe Namath did, he was going to be the next Joe Namath.
The Snake. The Snake was pretty successful.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But Richard Todd, drafted by the Jets, played
and
with
I
the
missed
Jets.
this. I didn't realize Bart Starr went to Alabama.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Way back when, in the 50s. So they've had some more
56.
success.
Yeah. Bart Starr was a 17th round pick.
Yeah.
Pick number 200.
Yep.
Joe Willie was a 1. Richard Todd was a 6. Tua was a 5. Jalen Hurts was a 53. They got a deal on him. And Mac Jones was a 15. Let me see if I can get our guy.
Okay. So we're going to switch subjects again, and we have still plenty of stuff to talk about with the draft. But we're going to bring on one of the team of distinction. Catawba County's had, this is the 5th year in a row they've had the team of distinction. And this year it is the Catawba Valley Community College national champion golf team back in 1990. He's going to join the LR football team of the national champions in 1960, Howard's Western Steer softball team, Hickory High School's 96 football team, Ridgeview's Untouchables back in 1964, and last year St. Stephen's High School's baseball team, which won 3 straight state champions. All of the team of distinctions, and they're going to welcome in on May 15th. The newest team is the CVCC golf team, which became national champions under head coach Charlie Bach.
Charlie Bach. Okay.
Charlie Bach.
Let me go to our phones, bring our next guest on, a member of that 1990 golf team, Brian Norris. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you on with us. I'd rather talk about what you do now, but Juju would rather talk about the Hall of Fame.
We could do a little bit of everything.
I'm a big fan. I'll go ahead and tell you I'm a big fan. This is something I wasn't aware of it till this team of distinction was even announced that CVCC had won a national championship in golf.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I was almost 19. It was one of the best moments of my life. And I got to tell you, though, we did win, and it was a junior college Division II. But the first 2 days at this Scottsdale event, we were leading everybody, including the NCAA, from everybody. So, anyway, we ended up just winning the junior college Division II. So,
hey, Brian, tell us how Coach Bach and how were you guys able to put together a team that was so good back then?
Well, I was in Triton High School, and I think that would be considered Dunn, Irwin, and Coates playing number 1. And I didn't have the grades to get in a 4-year university. I was definitely recruited by most of the ACC schools, and was very fortunate. Charlie Bach had a relationship with one of them, and it was I talked to NC State, and then the other one was East Carolina, and he called Charlie and said, "This kid he's really, really good, and he just can't get in college right now." And so Charlie showed up in Chapel Hill when we won the state championship. I think it was 1987. I finished in the top 4 in the state, but he said, "Son, I hear you can't get in college." And I said, "No, sir, I'm trying." He said, "Well, why don't you just come to CVCC and bring your grades up and transfer. And I said, well, that would be great. And from then on, it was history.
Did CVC? Do you think that CVCC found you, or did you find CVCC?
That's a tough question. I didn't have a whole lot of options, so I'm going to say that Charlie Bach found me, and he was fantastic as a coach. He loved what he does, even as a teacher. You know, he just does a fantastic job with the kids. There's many kids, and not just the ones who don't have the grades, just the ones who can't afford universities. And he put this golf team together that was just fantastic. Our top 5 never shot, over average 73. Just a great team, and some of the kids were smart enough to get in the university, and some of them couldn't afford it. And so he put this team together, and we practiced, and he was more instrumental for me mentally and about life and doing a good job at everything I did, not just golf, school, work. He is someone I will never forget in my life. He changed my life, and it was 1987 that he found me. So.
And you still play active golf?
I still play. I don't know if you consider active. I still shoot par, but it's just not quite as pretty as it used to be. The restaurant business found me, and I've been very successful in the restaurant industry. But I do play golf, and I do love golf, and I have kids that play, but not competitive. I learned to love the game outside of the competition, and I think it's very important because most people they go out there and just love to play golf. And, some of us are competitive, some of us are not. But it's still a great game, and it taught me as a kid growing up manners, respect, patience. So it's more than just the competition. It is a great sport.
I told Juju it's been a while since I've been out. Went down for a week-long trip with some guys down the coast about a month ago, and I haven't had any outdoor therapy. And I said, it's going to rain the rest of the week, and I don't want my membership to go bad, so I'm going to go get some outdoor therapy in the morning before the rain comes. And I'm not very good. I'm an old football player, so needless to say, an old lineman at that. So it's really not pretty, but I love to get out and just be out there away from everything in the peace and quiet. And I don't take it too serious, so I don't get frustrated with it. And it can be a game that if you learn to play, that you pretty much can play your entire life. I mean, it's just not one of those that unless you've got that ungodly swing that a Tiger Woods had, that you torque your body so bad, you can pretty well play it your entire life and enjoy it.
You can, and it's so much more than like you said. It's a way for people to meet, people to they do business on the golf course, and it's fantastic sport. And it's always been great, but it was very special to me. My whole family played. It's kind of a long story, and I try to cut it short, but I grew up playing since I was 6 years old, learned to play with my grandmother, and then I got good enough to where they didn't want to play with me, and I learned to play with my grandfather, and I got good enough to where they didn't want to play with me, so I kept moving up this chain. But the biggest compliment I could ever tell you is the pats on the back that I would get kept me going, and it has led me to success in other industries. Yeah. Not just in golf and life, but to be honest, to do what I say and say what I do. Anyway, I've been very fortunate in my life, and Charlie Bach gave me most of that opportunity, and I can't tell you enough about how thankful I am and how special he is to me.
Now, where did you say you were from originally?
Dunn, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, no, where Dunn is, but I'm assuming when you got here and after your CVCC career, you decided to stay in this area because this is not Dunn.
I did. I actually turned pro and played for a couple of years, and
okay.
I did okay, but I'm not having a lot of money, and I don't have a sad story, but I've been living by myself since I was 15, and my dad passed away at a young age. My mom remarried, and I just we didn't have a lot of money, but I don't have a sad story. I was very fortunate. I had golf, and I grew up around a lot of adults, a lot of father figures, just so many people help me out. But the biggest thing is the patting on the back, and people tell me I did a good job, and it was worth more than any money I've ever made in my life. And it pushed me to do more and more. And I love Hickory. I didn't choose Hickory. Hickory chose me. And I couldn't imagine a better place to do what I do.
You know, you're following up. Last week we had on a special guest, Rick Barnes, and he had some of the same things, same words came out of his mouth that are now coming out of your mouth, and that how he feels about this area and how happy he is and how blessed he feels about having grown up or been around this area for such a long time.
Yeah, Rick and I are friends. We're not close, but every time he comes to town, I do see him. He comes to Backstreets, and I'm sorry, but he's just such a nice guy.
Oh yeah,
just the inspiration of success. So yeah, I'm very proud to be even in the same conversation with him. So thank you for that.
No, you're exactly right. And I'm just sitting here. I was looking over the menu because I have been there on a number of occasions. And I got to tell you, one of the things that I really enjoy, and you can tell us a little bit about Backstreet, the soup in a bread bowl is absolutely amazing. Just go ahead.
That was the first thing. One of the first things we did was we wanted to do things different. I was 25 years old when I opened Backstreet back in 1996, and one of the funnest things ever was homemade soups. We make homemade soups, but we decided to serve it in an edible bread bowl, which at that time in 1996 was just crazy. You know, people went crazy. Now, you know, it's all over restaurants now, but it was a staple back in the day, and we've continued with that. Also, the chicken salad baked in the bread bowl, which we call the chicken salad surprise, with tomato and cheese. It's kind of like a chicken salad melt. In a
Had
bread
that
bowl.
too.
It's just, it's such a good seller. But these things have been on the menu since 1996, and just really proud of being a part of Hickory. And you know, I just can't tell you enough that people are fantastic. The customers that I have and the staff that I have, and I'm actually, I guess I can tell you this, I'm getting ready to open one in Newton also. My 31-year-old son and my 26-year-old son open Columbia, South Carolina, and are doing really well in the Gamecock country.
You could have went all night and not said that, but that's okay.
He's a big Clemson guy.
I played for Coach Ford back in the day.
my boys chose Columbia because they went to school there, but my heart is here, and Lenore Ryan University is fantastic. Has been really good to me. So,
yeah, you've got a great place and do a great job with it up there. You know, when I was looking through the history, I did not realize that you opened up in what was Woodlands, because I had eaten at Woodlands before. I was actually coaching at Bunker Hill back in those days, and one of the first times I went to Woodlands is we went up to do a scrimmage game at Hickory and during football season, and ate at Woodlands, and I didn't realize that was the first place you opened.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I dealt with Butch and Jim Houston. It was a great situation. They owned the one also in Blowing Rock, and they were doing so well up there. They just kind of couldn't keep up down here, and we had a great relationship, and I opened Backstreets. I bought it December 95 from those two guys, and we're still friends. Jim Houston actually still comes in here, so he's great.
Yeah, and but you do a great job, and congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction. Nothing happens, I'm going to plan on being there as well, because Juju and that group do a really fine job with their Hall of Fame induction and ceremony and everything. And I get to see, I'm considerably older than you are, and I get to see a lot of my former folks that I played with or played against or coaches, and of course we're losing some of those iconic coaches from up there now, but I look forward to meeting you in person when that night comes.
Well, I'm so excited, and I really appreciate the time with you, and can't wait to see you at the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Right. And congratulations again, and thanks for taking the time out to join us.
Yes, sir. I enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
Brian Norris. Right. And Brian going in on that 1990 Team of Distinction. And I didn't – now, was that JUCO?
Yeah.
A JUCO National Championship?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me take a quick break. Josh Carney will join us on the other side. We'll talk some Steelers.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. And welcome back. It's good to have you here on a Monday night. A lot of sunshine, but I got blinds coming, Juju.
You do?
Signed the paperwork today for the big window. That's the one
Well,
that's
my
kinda
back's to the window. It doesn't bother me.
But as it gets lower,
It'll-
it comes in. Bothers me. I can't put a 70-inch TV over there if it's there, so I got to fix that. Let me go to our phones, bring our next guest on. Covers the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's draft week. I'm sure I'll have differing opinions of everybody else. Josh Carney. Josh, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Hope all's well.
Doing good. I guess you saw the news. Aaron Rodgers is now a Jet, or relatively sealed the deal today. I didn't think there was that much in exchange of property other than the Jets took on a huge contract.
Yeah, I was a little surprised with the first-round pick swaps. I figured, it would be a
Two spots?
future first. Yeah, 2 spots, really. I mean, you take on the contract, you give up, 2 spots, and then I think it was, a second rounder they sent, and they're getting a 5th or a 6th in return, and then a future first. So, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be a massive deal where they gave up multiple first-round picks to get a guy who's approaching 40 and might be on the downside of his career. But I think this really does make the Jets legitimate contender in the AFC. I know last year I thought they had a pretty solid team, really good defense. They just needed a guy that wouldn't turn the football over and make bad decisions offensively, and now they get one of the better quarterbacks of all time. I still think they have some holes offensively at receiver, but I think this puts them kind of in that contender picture. But yeah, not surprised, by the deal overall.
So the Jets fall back to number 15 in the first round, and the Steelers have the number 17 pick in the first round. Do you think today's trade and swap of picks will have any effect on what Pittsburgh does?
I think it might open up a spot at 13 with Green Bay to move up if they wanted to. I think Green Bay could be at a situation where they move down, 4 spots and maybe recoup some additional picks there. But I don't think it changes the board overall in general. I kind of had always pegged the Jets as either an offensive tackle or a wide receiver. There at the original pick 13, whereas Green Bay, they could have been that wild card. They could have taken a tight end. They could have taken a pass catcher. But I don't think it really changes who could be on the board for Pittsburgh at that point. But I do think it opens up an opportunity to maybe move up 4 spots with Green Bay.
You're hearing, and again, this is the time of the year right before the draft, all kind of trade talk. Is there a player out there, do you think, if that player should happen to fall, that the Steelers would make the move to jump up to, say, to 13 or even higher?
Yeah, there's 2 that I have on good authority they'd want to move up for. Obviously, the first one is Jalen Carter, the defensive lineman out of Georgia. Obviously, he's got some red flags, some character concerns about some of the off-the-field stuff that happened in Georgia. Obviously, he had charges dropped on him right before the combine. It was a wild scene in Indianapolis 5 minutes before he was supposed to speak, and those charges kind of hit the airwaves, and he was pulled out of the combine. So that's the guy. The Steelers did a lot of work on him. They were at the Georgia Pro Day. Defensive coordinator was there. Defensive line coach was there. That would be one guy. I think the character concerns are slightly overblown. I think that's a dominant football player, arguably the best player in the class. And if he were to fall to 9 or below, I think you could see the Steelers make an aggressive move. On the opposite side of the football, it would be Ohio State offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. They did a lot of work at the Pro Day with him. If you guys recall, former Cincinnati Bengals offensive tackle Willie Anderson, that is Paris Johnson Jr.'s personal offensive line coach. He's mentored him since Paris Johnson Jr. was in elementary school, essentially. Willie Anderson was at the Pro Day dinner with Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan. They did a lot of work on Paris Johnson Jr., and that's kind of the blue chip tackle in this class. So if those 2 were to be on the board, say starting at 9 through maybe that pick 13 with Green Bay, I think you could see Pittsburgh be aggressive and move up to get one of those 2.
With the trade today of Aaron Rodgers, and you look at the AFC and all the quarterbacks and the offense that they have in the AFC, would it be smart for the Steelers when they're drafting this week that to keep up with everybody, they got to start drafting some more weapons? I don't know if you can draft a defense that'll try to stop these offenses, or you're going to try to get offensive weapons to outscore your opponents. Which philosophy do you think the Steelers are leaning towards?
I think with Pittsburgh, they're leaning towards that defensive mentality. I think what we saw last year, second half of the season, the best defense against those high-scoring offenses to keep them off the field. And you're going to have that ball control style offense, run the football, stop the run. It's hard for an offense to score points when they're not on the field. So I think you could see them beef up, the offensive line, whether that's a Paris Johnson Jr. or a Darnell Wright out of Tennessee that the Steelers really like, maybe a Darnell Washington or a good run-blocking tight end from Georgia. Maybe that philosophy offensively, but I think you're going to see this team try and load up defensively, add a cornerback, probably going to add a defensive lineman, maybe add another inside linebacker and a safety. But this team, historically, it's always been about defense in Pittsburgh, and I know that the year they had the killer bees and that high-scoring offense, teams were trying to keep up with them, but that didn't really lead to much. So I think in today's game, the Steelers are trying to build towards winning in the AFC North. And obviously that big picture there is Cincinnati with their firepower. And Pittsburgh had a winning philosophy against them. Run the football in the first week, possess the football, keep Cincinnati's offense off the field, and then when Cincinnati's offense is on the field, rush the passer and get after Joe Burrow. So I don't think they're worried about, matching score for score with these guys. I think they're going to be focused on, let's get stops and let's keep the ball away from them.
We're talking with Josh Carney. He covers the Pittsburgh Steelers. I still have my concerns, Josh, that they don't put enough emphasis on the offensive side of the ball, and the league has changed. I get it, and I think there's still a lot to offense wins games, defense wins championships, but if you can't get enough offense there to get you to those championship games, it doesn't really matter. Do you see any type of philosophy shift in that area?
I don't think that they're going to be that high-flying, pass-first attack. I do think that we are seeing a shift in Pittsburgh back to that run game heavy. You've seen some teams in years here. Things are cyclical in the NFL, and the run game is really in vogue again because, defenders are getting smaller and faster, and they cannot, really defend those bigger running backs, the power rushing attacks. I think that's where you're seeing the philosophical shift for the Steelers. Obviously they got some big guys up front in free agency, and Isaac Seumalo and Nate Herbig, to pair in front of Najee Harris and really run the football. You saw the trade for Allen Robinson here. I think that was last week. Weeks are kind of blending together here as we get closer to the draft, but he was a great run blocker the last few years, according to Pro Football Focus's metrics. So I don't think the Steelers want to be that high-flying pass first. We're going to score 40 points a game. I think they want to be the more physical team and really punch teams in the mouth. And I think that's where you're seeing that philosophical shift back to what Pittsburgh was in the 2000s and early in Tomlin's tenure, when it was quite successful. And like I said, the league is very cyclical, and the Steelers are kind of getting on that run game train at the right time.
Let me ask you a follow-up question to that. I understand what you're saying, but it almost seems like the prototypical offensive running back has become more in the Deebo Samuels mold and the Christian McCaffrey mold, that you've got a back that's a scat back, that's a running back, can be a power back, but they also need a back that's kind of dual purpose and can fall into the slot, be a receiver out of the backfield as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think that can be the case, but I think today in today's two high safety, the cover two shell, you need that power running back that can really just punish teams between the tackles. And I think you saw that in the Super Bowl. I know obviously Isaiah Pacheco with the Chiefs, that's kind of his style. He had a lot of success against the Eagles. I know that the Eagles had a number of running backs that they were able to roll out as well, but you kind of look, I mean, that's the style you need at this point. I think the Steelers have the answer at running back in Najee Harris. I don't think he's going to be that scat back that has all the explosive plays, but he's a guy, I think, we saw the success in the second half of the year. He's going to wear defenses down, and in the fourth quarter, that's when he's really going to take over. And I think that's the style the Steelers are leaning towards. Whether it's right or wrong, we'll see obviously come this fall. But I think there's a clear identity there for Pittsburgh.
You talked about what you're hearing the Steelers might do. What do you think they might do, and what do you think they should do?
As far as 17 overall in the first round?
Yes.
I think that they are going to sit tight at 17, and they're going to take Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. I know some people can get caught up in the fact of he's a right tackle only. Is there much value in right tackle? But again, you look at what they want to do. They want to run the football. They want to be the bullies up front, and that is exactly what Darnell Wright is at right tackle. I think he's a significant upgrade over Chukwuma Okorafor there, just at right tackle in the run game. What I would do, that's tough. I really think if Georgia's Nolan Smith was on the board, I would grab him, not just because of his skill set on the field, but I think he's a great leader, a tone setter off the field. One of the best interviews I had at the Combine. I mean, that man, I could talk to that man for hours on end. He's just a great person to talk to. But you look at the Steelers when T.J. Watt went down last year. I mean, it was Alex Highsmith and a cast of characters at outside linebacker, and that position is the key cog defensively. And the Steelers have not been able to figure out the third outside linebacker spot for years. So I know it's going to ruffle some feathers taking a backup at 17, but I would love to add Nolan Smith to that group, but it would allow you to keep Alex Highsmith and T.J. Watt fresh throughout games, and it would give you a piece for the future, depending on what happens with Alex Highsmith's contract.
Gotcha. Hey, since we last talked to you, I read where you joined the Pro Football Writers of America. What is that?
Yep.
Tell us about that.
It's a national organization for reporters that cover pro football. Whether you're a day-to-day beat writer or an editor of a website, whatever it may be, it's just a national organization where all of the football writers kind of come together. It's not a union, but it helps protect against some things that make us reporters. So Pro Football Writers of America, it's also a group that we have a all-pro vote. We have Pro Bowl voting. We have MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. It's just a thing I've been working towards since I started this when I was 19 years old, a sophomore in college. And so to be able to get that here in the last few months after twice applying and being denied felt pretty good. So glad to be part of the Pro Football Writers of America.
Well, congratulations. And while we're at it, I'm thinking about it. If you haven't subscribe to Steelers Depot. They send you an email. You can sign up and everything, and they do some really good articles, keep you update with what's going on with the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Carney, we appreciate you taking the time, and probably like to chat with you again next week after the draft and see what happens, see how close you are.
Yeah, Landy's wearing a Clemson shirt tonight, and a big Clemson guy here. Is there a chance that the Steelers take one of those Clemson defensive ends or defensive linemen?
Yeah, actually, I have in my latest, my final mock draft will drop tomorrow morning for the Steelers, and that's one of the guys, Brian Brisset. I'm still not sure if I'm saying his last name right because I think I've heard 15 different pronunciations of it, but he's kind of that guy, that hearts and smarts guy that the Steelers really like. He's had a tough road at Clemson the last few years with injuries and the tragic loss of his sister.
I was getting ready to say, but from an injury standpoint, and I'm a fan, I'm not sure he can stay healthy at that level.
And that's honestly the concern. I mean, he's a former 5-star prospect.
Yep.
I think he was the best defensive lineman in the country coming to Clemson. The injury issues are certainly a concern. I know that the Steelers had a medical recheck with him. I believe he was a pre-draft visit as well. They met with him exclusively at the Combine. He's just a guy that fits the culture and the character that franchise looks for. But I think, honestly, the biggest concern with him is the ability, to stay on the field, which he struggled with at Clemson. But the tools are all there for sure, and I think he'd be a solid piece to kind of add behind Cam Hayward. And I think he's certainly in consideration at 17 overall. And if they sit there at 32 and he's on the board, it would not shock me if they turn in that card and he's a draft pick.
Well, one of the things that you have to consider now when you start talking about attributes of a player, ability to stay on the field has got to be one of the top ones, even when you're talking about strength and speed and agility and intelligence. If you can't get on the field, it doesn't matter how many of those other ones you have, you can't play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike Tomlin always says the best ability is availability.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you can't stay on the field, you could be the best athlete ever, but if you can't be on the field, it doesn't matter. And that certainly goes into the draft process and even the free agency process with this team.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be able to stay healthy and be on the field and produce. And if you can do that, you've got a shot.
My Man Cave memorabilia does include a orange end zone cone or corner cone signed by Alex Highsmith. the connection there was not only is he a Steeler, but he played locally here with the Charlotte 49ers. So when I was able to pick that up, that was just one of the little things that I picked up as well.
And his high school coach played at the same high school that you played at, Mike Probst, West Lincoln.
Oh, that's right. He
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Mike's a little younger than I am.
Yeah.
I coached with Mike at one time.
Yeah, yeah.
At West Lincoln.
So, yeah, it's a small
Yeah,
world.
Yep. Josh, thank you for your time, sir. We'll try to chat with you next week.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Just give me a call.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
we
man.
appreciate
Good
it.
job. Thank you.
Here.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they did. I've told you my concerns with the Steelers, and just got to change that
I'm an
mindset a little
offensive
bit.
guy, and I see Joe Burrow. I see now Aaron Rodgers. You see Mahomes. You see the guy in Buffalo. You see San Diego's quarterback. They got a lot of offenses. And if you're going to beat these teams in the AFC, you got to, I think, in my opinion, you got to start outscoring them.
Well, I'm okay with Kenny Pickett. I just don't
and the
think
Steelers
there's
don't
enough
use-
pieces
I
up
agree.
front.
I
Like
agree.
with the Panthers.
Yeah.
There's no line.
Well, the Steelers' lines are going to be okay. I just think they just need to get some more weapons for Kenny Pickett.
Let me give you a couple of questions here that came in while we were on. Mark Alton says, if we could pick one current NFL quarterback to play with the Panthers, who would you take?
Boy. It's hands down. You take Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm not. Here again, I try to think of a quarterback that matches up better with a Frank Reich.
Oh, okay. So
Okay, when I think of that,
you're
I
adding
think,
an addendum to it now.
Well, I mean, that would be in my criteria
Yeah.
when I was picking one, and I would go a Josh Smith or Herbert because they're a little more the prototypical down the field fit that type of offense that he plays.
Sure.
Maybe not the most dynamic quarterback that would be available, but to be able to fit all the other pieces that you've got. That's the way I would lean.
I like Herbert. I really do. I
Yeah,
think he could be a really
yeah.
good quarterback. He get some weapons around him as well.
Mark Alton said, I'd take Josh Allen. I'm okay with that. Todd says the Panthers' issue is the same as been the last 15 years, offensive line, which I think that's still an issue with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mark, no, Art Schlichter was not a successful NFL quarterback. He was just a quarterback that came out of Ohio State. That's the way. Mark says he thinks the book on Justin Fields is still unwritten. I'm just not so sure. And Bob Duckworth said Dr. Krenzel was a defensive back at Duke that you were talking about. And Bob also said Charlie Bach is top shelf in so many ways, played football at 130-pound defensive end on a couple of championship high school football teams at Hickory High School.
Indeed.
With Marion Kirby and Charles Young.
Yeah.
And
Now you get a little my voice. I lost my voice all of a sudden.
it's okay.
They those guys get together every once in a while at one of the local restaurants for breakfast. So I bumped into him a couple of weeks ago. So yeah.
I'm all about breakfast.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You owe me a couple, don't you?
You don't show up. What can I say? All right, we're out of here. Have a great day tomorrow. It's going to be one more nice day of weather before the rain comes back in. There's some rain in the forecast from Wednesday to Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. We'll do it all again next Monday and give you the breakdown, our thoughts on the draft. Have a great week. And Mr. Rimmer and I will not see you tomorrow. He's got meetings. I've got outdoor therapy scheduled. We'll be in here Wednesday and Thursday as far as I know. Have a great one. See you then.